morning. I'm back out here in my backyard and we're going to be boiling sap. So here are some of the tools you're going to need if you want to boil your own sap. This part can be quite dangerous because you are using flame and propane. So if you are doing this at home, you do need an adult's help and supervision. So here I have the gas to make the fire. I have some propane. I have a burner here. It's going to make a flame down there to heat up the sap that's going to be in our container. Here I have a couple other tools you'll need. I have a scooper so that I can get the sap out of our buckets and I don't have to pick them up and pour. They're a bit too heavy. So I have a little scooper to get some sap out. I have a thermometer for once the sap is boiling and almost ready. You need to know what temperature it is so you know when to stop boiling it. I have a strainer here with just like a little coffee filter in it. This is what you use in a coffee maker. I'm going to pour the sap through here in case there was any bark or bugs or dirt in it. This is going to catch all of that so it doesn't get into the syrup. And this container here, you'll see how it works. It has a tiny hole right here and another one in case it starts to get too high. If I put too much in, it'll let more out. I'm going to pour my sap into here first. It's going to go into the filter, out the filter, and into this tray where it's only going to drip a little bit each time. Because if you add too much sap here first, it's going to make the sap too cold and it won't continue to boil. It's going to keep boiling and then not boiling because you add too much cold liquid. So you only want to add a little tiny bit of cold liquid at a time. So it's going to drip out of here into the bottom so that you're not using too much cold liquid at once. Okay, using my safety gloves, I have turned on the flame. You probably can't see it yet. It's pretty small right now. I'll turn it up more later once there's more liquid in here. But I'm going to take some of my sap and I'm going to pour it into the filter. Whoop, it's spilling a little, that's okay. Here we go. And as you can see, down at the bottom, it is slowly dripping into this. You can see some liquid down there. And it's now dripping into the bottom. Can you see it? The bottom container. And as it goes down there, I'm going to turn the heat up and it's going to start to boil. I'm going to get more and more liquid in there because you want a nice cover on the little cover on the bottom before you start so that everything's getting heated equally. So we're going to try and put more sap in and start to boil it. Okay, the sap is boiling away. I had to change my coffee filter just for a rag because it was getting too floppy and wet. So I tried that out. It didn't work very well. But you can see, if you can see the bubbles down there, it's boiling away. And I'm going to keep adding more scoops of liquid into my strainer to go down here, to go out the little hole that will drip down and continue to boil in there until all of my sap is gone. So I'll show you a couple times I'm adding it and then we'll just wait and see what happens and see if it turns into syrup. You can see it's really bubbling a lot now. I've probably added about 3 containers this full and you'll notice it's not looking like there's actually that much liquid in there and that's because all the water is boiling off in this steam that you can sometimes see. Now, the reason I'm doing this outside is because that steam there is the water evaporating. So the water is turning from a liquid to a gas, but it also has some sugars in it from the sap, from the sticky syrup. You know, syrup's very sticky if you touch it, right? Well, if I was doing this inside, all that sticky steam would stick on my ceiling, on my cupboards, on my fridge. So I don't want to boil inside. I want to boil outside so the sticky steam goes up into the sky and doesn't get stuck inside my house. If you can see now, I have more liquid in there and it keeps boiling. So you may want to make sure that you're not adding too much cold liquid and stopping the boiling because you always want it to boil. It'll be the best syrup if it's always boiling, which means bubbling. Bubble, bubble, bubble. We are checking in on our sap. It's been all morning that it's been boiling. I've been adding more sap, and you can see the color is all getting a little bit darker. You know how maple syrup is dark? It's because all the sugar is staying in there and the water's leaving, it's evaporating out. So it's gonna keep getting darker, and that's how we know that it's working. All right, it's almost dinner time now. The sap has been boiling all day. I've kept adding more and more of the sap to it. I'm not going to be adding any more just because I don't have enough time. I actually still have a little bit left in the bucket, but I don't have any more time to boil it. So I'm going to let this go to 219 degrees Fahrenheit or 104 degrees Celsius. If I boil it more than that, it's going to end up a little bit thicker and more like candy. And if I don't boil it long enough, if I don't boil it to that temperature, it's going to be too liquidy and it's going to be like soup on your pancakes. You don't want that. It's almost done. It's boiling so much now. Do you see how dark brown it is? That means it's almost done. It's 217 degrees, 2 more degrees to go. It's close to 102 in Celsius. All right, I boiled it to 219 degrees Fahrenheit or 104 degrees Celsius. And this is all the syrup that there is. I had 2 full buckets, this big. And all it boiled down to was 1, 2, 3 little jars. But they're going to be tasty. I hope at least. We are back inside now, and I'm going to be telling you what your activity is. I can't ask you to make maple syrup because most likely you don't have maple trees, the time isn't right anymore because it needs to be freezing at night and melting during the day, and it's getting a little too warm for that, so I can't ask you to make maple syrup. So you're probably wondering, what activity are we going to do? Well, we're going to be talking about how syrup is delicious, but it might not be the most healthy food for you. So we're going to keep going with our graphs and charts unit for math, and we're going to make another T-chart, but this one's going to be about healthy and unhealthy foods. So I have some foods here, and we're going to figure out if they're healthy or unhealthy, and then I'm going to ask you to find some in your own house. So first, we have syrup. And syrup is delicious, but I should not just drink it. It has so much sugar in it. So syrup, although it's tasty, it is unhealthy. So it's actually going to go in our unhealthy side of our T-chart. Syrup. Now let's look at some other things I found in my house. I found a can of vegetable soup. Vegetable soup is pretty healthy. It has vegetables, it has good starches from the noodles, it has a lot of nutrients, so it's healthy. Vegetable soup. Let's see what else I found. I also found a lollipop. Is my lollipop healthy or unhealthy? You know that. It's unhealthy. Call it a lollipop or a sucker, whatever you want to call it. I found 3 more things. Another one I found, celery. Celery is a vegetable. It doesn't have too many nutrients, but it doesn't have sugars or any bad fats, so it's good for you. Celery. I'm going to show you 2 more items, but I'm not going to put them on the healthy, unhealthy list. I would like you to try to put them on. And when you are at home, I want you to put my 2 items and 5 more of your own. So you should have 6 things in each. I'll tell you that one of my things is healthy, one of them is unhealthy. So you should have 6 items here in healthy, 6 items here in not healthy. That does not include these. Those were examples. So we're not going to use them. You need 6 new things on this side, 6 new things on this side. So 6 healthy, 6 unhealthy, and you can't use the ones I found. So you have to try to find some of your own in your own house. So the two I want you to figure out, which one's healthy and which one's unhealthy, I think it's pretty easy. But I have chocolate chips. Chocolate chips, they are pure chocolate. So you figure out, do you think that's healthy or unhealthy? And a banana. These ones I think are pretty easy, but I gave them to you just to start you off on your T-chart. So make sure that when you do your T-chart to give to me, you have a healthy side, an unhealthy side, and without using these, using the banana, the chocolate chips, and some food you find in your own houses, I need 6 healthy items and 6 unhealthy items. All right, good luck, and I hope that you're practicing eating healthy when you're at home. I know it's a little bit hard since we're at home a lot. My weakness is chips. I love chips a bit too much. But I make sure that I don't buy too many at the store. And in my house, I make sure that I limit myself only eating a bit each day or every other day. If you eat too much all at once, it's not good for you. All right, good luck.